Hey, what's up, people? Last week, the 14th through the 16th of June, my kid and I drove up to San Francisco for the weekend. Some of you might be thinking, you went to Open Sauce, right? You went to Open Sauce, right? Well, yes, but actually, no. We did drive by it just to see if there was anything going on outside that we could observe. But no, all of the action was pretty much taking place inside, and I'm not cool enough to be a part of it. We did, however, get out and take a look at William Osman's busted-ass Acura TL that they had set up outside in the parking lot. Delicately decorated with a red barrel on top of it, and some lights and stuff. The aesthetic was very junkyard chic. I haven't been to either Open Sauce, but one of my younger brothers actually did attend last year, which was the first year that Open Sauce took place. He had built a target game where you had to shoot Nerf darts at targets that lit up. The game had some large 7-segment displays that he built himself. He programmed the game and everything. So I'm pretty proud of him. They got to showcase this game at the very first event. He's really good at coding, and he's gotten into electronics over the years as well. He occasionally posts videos on his own YouTube channel, which goes by the name of 622 by Sunrise, if you'd like to check them out. Open Sauce definitely looks like an extremely fun event, so maybe next year, if it's still on. The main reason we went up to San Francisco was to go visit an uncle of mine that lives up there. But along the way, we wanted to make a stop at the Computer History Museum in Mountain View, and we were definitely not disappointed. There were so many interesting items and artifacts on display. Well, things that nerds like us would find interesting anyway. The main part of the museum is an area that they call Revolution, where the galleries begin with some early tools used for calculation, such as the abacus and the slide rules. They had various forms of them, including some very complex looking ones. My tiny mind couldn't even begin to pretend to know what all I was looking at, but they were interesting nonetheless. There's an area with various types of calculators, including some large mechanical calculators that appear to have hundreds of tiny moving parts. Mind-boggling how people built these such a long time ago. There were punch card machines, various types. Analog computer built from spare parts. And one made of brass beams and wheels that was used to design ships. There was cabinets with racks of tubes from ENIAC. Massive devices. But also present in the ENIAC display, a 50th anniversary redesign of it made to fit on a single chip. So from taking up the space of a large room to fitting on a piece of silicon smaller than the size of a postage stamp. I'm sure with today's tech, it could be made even smaller, small enough to accidentally ingest while you're eating chips. There was one machine that I found to be a bit of an enigma. Vacuum tubes. So many vacuum tubes. Not your regular run-of-the-mill All-American 5 radios here. And speaking of vacuum tubes, a Bendix G15. The same type of machine that David over on Usagi Electric has been working on restoring for some time. I've seen some of his videos on it, so it was quite a treat to get to see one in the flesh. Well, sheet metal? Yeah, I guess that sounds better. Crazy looking cylindrical memory storage devices. The kind of thing that you might expect to see in a science fiction movie or something, being used as some sort of time-space disruptor or some crap. But these are actually real devices that were used at some point as memory. Also, the first production IBM hard disk drive, the 350, big enough that someone could get hurt trying to move it. Not that you couldn't get hurt with a modern hard drive, just not in the same way. And speaking of storage and memory, various examples of core memory, some low density looking modules, up to an absolute unit of a device that looked insanely dense, along with various other examples scattered throughout. Lots of pieces of unique computers and their associated modules. I thought this board from an Amdahl Fujitsu computer was really neat, with all the devices on the board having their own individual heatsink mounted on top of them. Oh no! It looks like two may have fallen off right there. It's gonna overheat now. Imagine accidentally yanking a set of cables off this thing. Insane town. And while on the subject of cables, take a look at the thick power cables on this Cray 1 supercomputer. Not to mention the rat's nest of thin wires connecting all the boards inside the towers. I can understand why my kid was saying that seeing all this stuff was making his head hurt. Now that's just Cray right there. Nom 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 nom. Can't have autonomous robots without computing, so you know what else they have on display? That's right, robots. Robots big and robots small. Robots very robot-like, and a freaking Furby. Oh, hi Andy. Here's a Slither Boy. And Squee, the robot squirrel, used for hunting nuts. Actually, tennis balls. They've got Kim 1, Apple 1, this thing, and various other early mini computers that were the type that could actually fit on a desk. Funky input devices, such as this keyboard that looks like you have to use your butt to type with. And the Orb of Confusion. I guess you're supposed to use it to manipulate stuff as if you were holding it. Check out Invisible Man over here with his cool Sega glasses. I actually have a set of these that I want to do another video on at some point. Q-Cat. I have a box full of these. A really old Pixar computer that looks like a huge, thick tombstone. Towards the end of the walkthrough, there were video games, many that most of us will readily recognize. Here's one called Doom. You may have possibly heard of it. This one was cool to see. An Atari 2600 prototype. This Palm Pilot prototype was also pretty neat. Dragon Ball CPU, bodges and everything. There's some regular looking, more modern pieces of mobile computing, but also some interesting stuff. Like this IBM ThinkPad 701 with the butterfly keyboard. It's in a glass case though, so it can't fly anywhere. Did you use Google in 1999? I'm guessing your searches probably went through this thing. It appears to be completely cobbled together with off-the-shelf components and homemade parts. I freaking love it. Before we left, we did a quick walk through the IBM 1401 Demo Lab, where they have set up various pieces of equipment that get shown off to visitors. So you can see and hear how these old systems operated. We weren't there when a demo was scheduled, so we didn't get to see it, but maybe next time. Overall, the museum trip was quite a neat experience. My kid really enjoyed it as well and would like to go back someday. There's way more to look at than what I'm showing in this video. I'd highly recommend stopping by for a visit to the museum if you're ever in the area and are interested in this sort of thing. Before we came back home, my uncle hooked me up with some pieces of equipment that we'll take a look at in future videos. Not everything I brought back will be for videos, but my truck was quite weighty, and at one point we hit some uneven pavement on the freeway that caused us to sway pretty bad, and we both freaked out a bit for a sec.
The truck is heavy.
The video doesn't do the feeling justice. It was pretty scary. Thank you for joining us on our trip. We'll see you back at the bench in the next video.